My wife said, I deserve to feel alive again after cheating with our daughter's swim coach, so I served her divorce papers on her birthday and left her to drown in her own mess. Hey everyone! Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. Hey everyone, I've been reading on here for a while, but never thought I'd be one of the people posting. Yet, here I am. Real life did its thing, and now I'm sitting on my couch typing this out because if I don't, I might explode. So I'm 39 male, a construction supervisor. Been married to Dana, 38 female, for almost 15 years. We have a daughter together, Bella, 14 female, who swims competitively. Not casually. I mean, we've been to meets in different states, she trains 5 days a week, eats like a machine. It's a whole lifestyle. So between Dana's job in HR, my hours, and Bella's practices, things have been busy the last few years. But I thought we had a system. Thought we were solid. Okay, so some backstory. Dana's always been sharp. Like she has this air of being the smartest person in the room even when she's wrong. If you challenge her, she gets this look like you just told her you don't believe in gravity. She's great at her job, I'll give her that. But she brings that HR energy home and tries to run the family like a performance review. My sister Jamie used to joke that being married to Dana must feel like living with a supervisor who never clocks out. And yeah, looking back, she wasn't wrong. Anyway, I didn't think too much of it for years. We had our good moments. We used to joke around a lot in the early years, did little weekend trips, and actually enjoyed time together. After Bella came along, that faded a little, but I figured that's normal. Parenthood changes things. What I didn't realize is Dana wasn't just pulling away, she was setting up her exit plan, and I was too busy working overtime and packing swim bags to notice. So where it started getting weird, Dana suddenly got really into Bella's swim practices. At first, I was happy. I'd been the one going most of the time, sitting in those metal bleachers, clapping like a maniac at 7 a.m. Dana used to say, I get bored, or chlorine gives me headaches. Then one day, she was just into it. She started going to practices, volunteering at meets, even started chatting up the coach a lot, Tyson. Yeah, Coach Tyson. That's where it begins. Now Tyson's maybe mid-30s, super fit, wears athletic gear like it's his second skin. Not exactly Mr. Personality, but Dana would not stop talking about him. Tyson thinks Bella should focus more on backstroke. Tyson recommended this recovery protein. Tyson's wife is into yoga too. I remember joking once, like, you mentioned Tyson more than your own husband, and she laughed it off. But the vibe was weird, and her laughing didn't feel like the old times. It felt forced, like she was laughing at me, not with me. She then started bringing him up at dinner. Not every night, but enough that it stood out. I figured maybe it was because of Bella's swimming. Maybe she wanted to be more involved. I really tried to believe that. I wanted to. The coach is coming? I asked the first time. She said, yeah, just to talk about Bella's training. I looked at her and said, and you can't talk on the phone? She just shrugged like I was the weird one for asking. You ever get that tight feeling in your chest that says, this ain't it? Yeah, that kicked in. But I kept it in. I didn't want to seem paranoid or controlling. So I stayed polite, offered the guy water, and sat there while they talked drills like I didn't even exist. It became more frequent. She'd talk about Tyson more than her own family, and she got colder with me. Like there was less warmth, less jokes, less anything. Then one Friday afternoon, she came down the stairs dressed up. Not in a dressy way, but like effort was made. Casual cute. I asked where she was headed. She said, oh, I'm taking Bella to the park. Just us girls. I paused. The park? Yeah, she said, grabbing her keys like it was the most normal thing in the world. We just want some mom-daughter time. She's been asking for it. Now I'm not dumb. Bella rarely wants to do anything that doesn't involve TikTok or swimming. But again, I tried to trust her. I said, all right, have fun. About an hour later, something didn't feel right. I don't even know what it was. Just this tightness in my chest and this nagging voice in my head. So I checked her location. She forgot that I still had access to her Google location sharing from when she set it up for safety years ago. One of those in case of emergencies things. Guess she forgot that worked both ways. And sure enough, she wasn't at the park. She was at a restaurant. Not just any restaurant. This fancy little bistro we used to go to on anniversaries. You don't take a teenager to a place with a wine menu and cloth napkins. That's not park material. So I got in my truck, drove over, didn't go in, didn't make a scene, Just parked and watched from across the street. And there they were, Dana, Bella, and Tyson, sitting there, laughing like they're the happy little family I thought we had. Tyson was leaned back like he owned the table. Dana was smiling, really smiling, the way she hadn't smiled at me in years. And Bella, just sitting there like it was all normal. I didn't panic. I just took a photo. Nothing crazy, just proof. And then I went home. When they got back, I waited until Bella went to her room and said, "Hey, how was the park?" Dana blinked. "Oh, it was nice. Got some sun." I nodded. "That restaurant you were at didn't look like a park." She froze. Then her face changed. She didn't apologize. She didn't explain. She went straight to attack mode. "Why are you checking my location? That's controlling, Grant. That's unhealthy." I stayed calm and asked, "Why would you lie about where you're going in the first place?" She scoffed and said, "Because I knew you'd start flipping things and overreact, like you always do." I couldn't believe it. She really tried to turn it on me, like I was the problem for not believing her lie. I stood there for a few minutes just staring, wondering how we got here. Then I walked upstairs to Bella's room. Her door was cracked open, and she was lying on her bed scrolling through her phone like none of this mattered. I knocked lightly. "Yeah?" she mumbled, not even looking up. "Hey," I said, stepping in. "Can I ask you something?" She rolled her eyes and finally glanced over. "What? That dinner with Coach Tyson? Why didn't you just tell me that's where you were going? Why lie and say it was the park?" She sighed dramatically, like I'd just interrupted her at a red carpet event. "Because it wasn't a big deal, Dad. Mom said not to make a thing out of it, and of course you did." "Bella, it's not just about dinner. It's the fact that she lied. You don't think that's weird?" She shrugged. "You always overreact about stuff. It's not like they're doing anything wrong." I leaned against the doorframe, trying to keep calm. "You really think it's normal for your mom to have dinner with your coach in secret and lie to me about it?" Bella sat up and crossed her arms. "Maybe if you weren't always acting so suspicious and paranoid, she wouldn't have to lie. You're the one making things weird." That stung more than I wanted to admit. I closed her door gently behind me and stood in the hallway for a second, trying to swallow the feeling that I was being erased from my own family, one lie at a time. I didn't know what was coming yet, but I knew this wasn't going away. I just didn't know how deep it went. Yet, I started noticing more stuff after. Not just the lies, those were loud, but the little things. Like how she suddenly stopped plugging her phone in next to the bed and started charging it downstairs because the light keeps me up. Or how she started locking the shared car, using the fob even in our garage, which she never used to do. One time I asked if she wanted to go to Bella's next meet together, like we used to. She looked at me like I asked if she wanted to hand me her pancreas. I already told Tyson I'd help set up. We're riding together to save time. That was the first time she even said his name directly in weeks. Like she wanted to make sure I heard it loud and clear. It's wild how your brain starts connecting dots once you realize you've been played. I didn't even want to go through her phone at first. I still had this little sliver of hope that maybe it was emotional at most. Maybe they hadn't crossed lines all the way. That didn't last long. One night, she went upstairs for a shower. Bella was asleep. House was quiet. Her phone was charging on the counter. Rookie move. I don't know if she forgot or just got sloppy, but I stood there staring at it for like 10 minutes debating. My hands were literally shaking. Then I grabbed it. She had changed the lock code, but I tried Bella's birthday. Day, month, year. Click. It opened. I don't know if I wanted it to work or not, but it did. I didn't even go to texts first. I went straight to notes. I'd seen Dana type in there a lot when she thought I wasn't paying attention. I figured that was her stash spot. I was right. She had full-blown letters to Tyson. Like written out paragraphs like we're in some cheesy long-distance relationship movie. I read one that said, "I know what we're doing is wrong, but I've never felt more right in my life. I feel alive again. You remind me that I'm more than a wife and a mom." Like, wow. Thanks for reducing your entire marriage and parenthood to a job you're bored of. There were pictures, too. Screenshots of texts I hadn't seen, saved voice memos I didn't even try to open, and her recapping their first kiss at the hotel parking lot in detail. That one hit hard. I thought she was out getting groceries that night. I even helped unload them. I took photos of everything on my phone. No drama, no breaking stuff, no yelling. I knew I was going to need proof. Something solid. Because if she ever tried to flip this and play victim, I needed the receipts. I'm not losing everything to someone who lies this easily and plays it cool like nothing's wrong. After I closed her phone, I backed away like it was radioactive, went into the garage, sat down, and just stared at the wall for who knows how long. My mind was a mess. But one thing was clear. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I called Jamie. She answered on the second ring. I told her everything. She was silent for a second. Then she goes, "Okay, now we stop being nice." That's why I love Jamie. No fake sympathy, no gaslighting, just real talk. She told me to call a lawyer, move money, get ahead of whatever Dana might try. Don't confront her yet. Just prep. You don't want to get blindsided. It was solid advice. So the next day, while Dana was out at yoga, which I'm now 99% sure was either code for Tyson time or just her excuse of the day, I met with a lawyer. Told him everything. He didn't blink. Said I wasn't the first guy to get duped by a cheating wife with a nice smile and a two-phone setup. He told me to start protecting assets. So I opened a new checking account, moved half our savings, legally, not hiding it, just separating, and started listing out everything in our shared name. The car, the house, the kids' college fund, all of it. That night, Dana came home acting normal. Asked if I wanted to order sushi. I just stared at her. I don't think I answered. My silence must have made her nervous, because she started saying how distant I've been lately. Said we need to reconnect, that maybe we should try a weekend away. And I just thought, reconnect? With the same person who sends another man, "I can still feel your hands on my skin" in her notes app? I didn't take the bait. I said I was tired, went to bed early, and laid awake for hours listening to her brushing her teeth and humming like she didn't nuke our marriage and dance on the ashes. I was collecting information every day now. Anytime she left the house, I checked the car mileage, found excuses to verify what she told me. If she said she went to Target, I asked what she bought. Sometimes she fumbled. One time I found a receipt from a spa in the back seat when she said she was at Bella's practice. She was slipping. I was paying attention now. Bella, meanwhile, was either completely oblivious or playing dumb. I couldn't tell which, but she wasn't asking questions. And when I tried to do simple things like watch a movie together or hang out just the two of us, she acted like I was annoying her. I started to feel like a stranger in my own house. My wife was gone, and my daughter was slipping away too. But I wasn't going to yell or play dirty. I was going to win this the right way, with proof, calm decisions, and making sure that when this all hit the fan, no one could say I didn't try. No one could say I overreacted. I wasn't there to play detective forever. I just needed enough to end it on my terms. And by then, I had it. I wasn't guessing anymore. I knew. But knowing and acting are two different things. And I wanted the timing to be perfect. Not for drama, but for clarity. I wanted it to be so clear, so undeniable, that Dana couldn't weasel her way out of it or spin it in her favor. Her birthday was coming up. It hit me one night while brushing my teeth. What better day to serve divorce papers than the day she expects me to play loving husband and pretend we're not sleeping in a bed full of lies? Petty, maybe, but it also felt right. I called my lawyer and said, "Let's file. I want her served on her birthday." He paused for a second, then said, "Honestly, I've seen worse." So we did it. The night before her birthday, she was oddly chipper. Told me she'd booked a table at the seafood place we used to go to pre-Bella. Said she wanted to reconnect. I swear she had the nerve to say, "I feel like things have been better lately." Like I hadn't just found her third set of deleted texts to Tyson 2 days ago. This woman was either completely delusional or Oscar-level fake. Maybe both. I played along. "Yeah, sounds nice," I said, pretending I hadn't already arranged for her to be served before appetizers. The morning of her birthday, I made coffee like usual. She came into the kitchen wearing that fake smile face that used to fool me, but now just looked like a customer service rep with a vendetta. Bella was still asleep upstairs. I handed Dana the envelope. Plain, manila, nothing fancy. "What's this?" she asked, still smiling. "Happy birthday," I said. Her face changed instantly. It was like flipping a light switch. First confusion, then shock, then anger. "You're divorcing me? On my birthday?" I didn't even flinch. "Yeah, I figured today's already a day about you." She started to say something, then stopped, trying to piece together if this was real. I looked her right in the eye and added, "Now there's nothing in the way of you being with Tyson. Congratulations." She started going off. "I didn't cheat. You always twist things to make yourself look like the victim." I set the mug down and looked straight at her. "You didn't cheat? You sure you want to say that with a straight face? Because I've got screenshots, timestamps, and GPS history that say otherwise." "You're not being framed, Dana. You just got caught." She opened her mouth like she had a comeback locked and loaded, but nothing came out. Just more silence. Bella must have heard the commotion because she came downstairs, rubbing her eyes, still half asleep. She looked at the envelope in Dana's hand, then at me. "You're really divorcing, Mom?" she asked. "You're a coward." That one didn't hit me like she probably wanted it to. Honestly, it felt like confirmation. Bella wasn't just taking her mom's side. She'd been on her mom's side this whole time. She knew. I don't know how much, but she knew. And I guess in her head, I was the one screwing up by not just shutting up and pretending everything was fine. Dana kept ranting, said I was selfish, bitter, and insecure. That Tyson was just a moment of weakness, and I was making it bigger than it was. I laughed. You don't write love letters for a moment of weakness, Dana? She turned her back and walked off. Bella followed her. I stood in the kitchen alone, still holding my mug, just staring out the window like I was waiting for reality to catch up. Later that day, Dana's parents called. I hadn't spoken to them in months. Not that we were ever close. They always treated me like I was lucky to have their daughter, even when I was the one working 2 jobs early on and keeping everything afloat. Her mom was the one who spoke first. Maybe you're wrong about this. Maybe you acted too quickly. Dana told us it wasn't what you think. I didn't argue. I just sent them a photo dump, screenshots of her and Tyson's love notes, the "can't wait to be yours" texts, the picture I took of them at the restaurant while she told me she was at the park with Bella. I didn't say anything else, just sent the evidence and left it there. They never replied. That night, Dana barely spoke to me. Bella wouldn't even look at me. I stayed in the guest room and scrolled job listings. Not because I needed one, I was doing fine, but just to feel like I had some control over something. Like I could change something in my life that wasn't built on lies. The next morning, Dana texted me from upstairs. Can we talk later? I didn't respond. From that point on, things got icy. We were still living under the same roof because legally I couldn't leave without it looking like abandonment, and my lawyer said to stay put and stay civil. But every day felt like walking into a room where someone died and no one wants to admit it. Bella avoided me like I had a disease. She'd only talk if she needed something. Rides, money, a signature for school stuff. She didn't even ask why I filed. Didn't want the details. Just made her judgment call and moved on. Dana started trying to manipulate the narrative. I'd hear her on the phone with friends, talking low but just loud enough. He never really saw me. I felt invisible. I was alone in that marriage for years. That kind of crap. The thing is, I never yelled, never hit, never cheated. I paid the bills. I supported her career. I went to every swim meet. I was there. But apparently, being consistent isn't enough when someone decides they want excitement over loyalty. Still, I didn't engage. I focused on what mattered, documenting everything, keeping receipts, preparing for what came next. Because I knew Dana. Once the shock wore off, she'd come back with a plan. She wasn't the type to take an L without trying to spin it. I just didn't know how far she was willing to go. Yet. Then Dana went cold. The kind of cold that makes you realize this wasn't a mistake to her. It was strategy. She started treating everything like a negotiation, like we were splitting up a business instead of a life. And surprise, surprise, the first thing she tried to control was Bella. One morning, she came into the kitchen while I was making breakfast for myself. No small talk, just hit me with, I think Bella should stay here full time. Stability is important. She said it with this weird, robotic calm, like she was reading a script. I didn't even respond at first because I was trying to figure out if she was serious. When I looked up and saw her waiting for my answer like it was a job interview, I said, "We're not doing this right now." That was enough to kick things off. She started emailing me proposals. Yeah, emailing, like she was my boss, suggesting I move out so she and Bella could have routine and consistency. Her words. She even attached a drafted schedule she made on Canva, had color-coded blocks for when I could visit. I forwarded it to my lawyer. He called me and said, "She's testing your limits. Don't flinch." Around this time, I noticed she wasn't just focused on keeping Bella. She was working on turning her against me too. I'd pick Bella up from school and she'd barely say 2 words. Ask her how her day went? Shrug. Try to have a conversation about anything? 1-word answers, eye rolls. Mom says you're just mad. It's like Dana downloaded the playbook for alienating a kid and started working through the chapters. So I stopped trying to win her back. I just stayed consistent. I still made dinner. I still showed up at swim meets, even if Dana acted like I was invisible. I stayed calm even when Bella made it clear she didn't want me around. Because I knew, one way or another, the truth would break through the fog eventually. But I had to be solid. Not emotional. Not reactive. Just steady. Meanwhile, Dana was ramping up the act for everyone else. She'd post these sweet little family photos on Facebook like we were all co-parenting peacefully. She even posted a birthday shout-out to me, tagging me and writing, "Even though we're on different paths now, I'll always appreciate the father you are to Bella." I didn't even reply. But I saved it, just in case she ever tried to tell the court I was hostile or unstable. Every passive-aggressive Hallmark post was now just another entry in the evidence folder. Then came the protective order threat. We had a stupid argument about the stupid shared car. I'd gone to pick up some of my stuff from the trunk, and she claimed I scared her by walking up to it unannounced. She started hinting that maybe she needed space, that maybe she'd talk to someone about boundaries. I saw right through it. She was building a case. So I preemptively filed for temporary custody rights to make sure she couldn't freeze me out of Bella's life on a whim. I had a place lined up to move into, but I waited until it was official because, again, lawyers said leaving without a custody agreement in place could backfire. Every move had to be calculated now. This wasn't marriage anymore. It was chess. Dana wasn't happy about that. She accused me of escalating things, said I was making her life harder than it needed to be. I told her, "You made your choices. I'm just responding to them." A few days later, she offered a compromise, said I could see Bella anytime I wanted, as long as I agreed to give up the house. That was her angle now. She knew I loved that house. Knew I built half of it myself, room by room. She wanted it, not just for Bella. She wanted to win. I told her to send the proposal to my lawyer. She didn't like that answer. That same week, Bella had a school event. Parents were invited, some end-of-semester project showcase thing. Dana got there early with Bella, of course. When I walked in, I caught them talking to Coach Tyson. Yeah, still around. He was standing way too close. Dana was laughing too much. Bella looked right at me and then looked away, like I wasn't part of the picture anymore. I didn't walk over, didn't make a scene. I just stood at the back, watched my daughter present her project to some teachers, clapped when it was done, and left. When I got home, I got a text from Dana. "Next time, maybe don't act like a stranger at your daughter's event." I replied, "Maybe next time don't bring your affair partner to it." She didn't text back. Later that night, Jamie called me. I hadn't even told her about the latest drama, but somehow she always knew when to check in. I told her everything, about Dana, about Bella, about Tyson still slithering around. Jamie said, "You did the right thing, G. Don't let anyone make you question it. She threw away her family. You're just refusing to let her burn you with it." And that stuck with me. Because the truth is, yeah, it sucks. It sucks knowing my own daughter thinks I'm the bad guy. It sucks walking into a house I built and feeling like I don't belong there. It sucks watching someone else be welcomed by the same people who should have had my back. But I keep showing up. I keep standing tall. I don't yell. I don't lose control. And eventually, that's what's going to make the difference. The first real crack in Dana's fairy tale came on a random Tuesday. I was picking up some of my stuff from the house. We had this rotating arrangement while we were figuring out custody and living spaces. She wasn't home and Bella was at swim practice. I came in, grabbed what I needed, and was about to leave when I noticed something was off. There was this folded note on the counter, right next to the fruit bowl. Like a handwritten note, not a text, not a sticky with a grocery list, an actual letter. It was addressed to Tyson. No envelope, just folded once like it had been opened and read. Now, I wasn't trying to snoop at that moment. I already had more evidence than I needed. But this thing was right there, like it wanted to be seen. I read it. It was short. She was basically begging him to meet up, said she missed how things used to feel, and that it's been really hard without you. That line right there, that's when I knew he'd ditched her. She wasn't writing him love notes anymore. She was trying to get him back. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't take the note or take a picture of it. I just stood there for a minute, thinking how pathetic it was that she threw away her entire marriage and now couldn't even hold on to the guy she threw it away for. Later that week, I got confirmation. One of Bella's teammates' parents mentioned that Tyson was no longer coaching. He stepped away suddenly, they said. Some personal drama. I never said a word to anyone, but I guess word travels fast when your affair partner starts skipping meets and parents start asking questions. Dana didn't say a word about it. She just acted like nothing happened, but I noticed she stopped going to Bella's practices. No more showing up in athleisure pretending to be supportive. No more volunteer shifts at the snack bar. Suddenly, she was home all the time. Then came the texts. Not dramatic ones. Just these low-effort, fishing for response types. "Hey, hope your week's going okay? He'll let me know if you want to get coffee and talk." Bella asked if you're coming to her meet this weekend. I never responded to the first two. For the third, I replied, "Of course I am." I never stopped showing up for her. Dana waited until the meet to say something in person. I showed up early, grabbed my spot in the bleachers, stayed quiet. When she walked in, she came over with that fake casual tone she uses when she wants something. "Thanks for coming," she said, like I was some distant uncle and not her daughter's father. I nodded. There was this long pause, and then she tried to get into it. "Look, I know things got messy. I never meant to hurt you. I just felt disconnected." I stopped her there. You felt disconnected, so you cheated. You lied. You involved our daughter in it. You don't get to clean it up with buzzwords. She got this hurt expression like I'd insulted her instead of just pointing out the obvious. You don't understand what I was going through, she said. And that's when it really hit me. She still hadn't taken ownership. Not once. She didn't say, I'm sorry. She didn't say, I was wrong. Just more excuses. More blame deflection. After the meet, Bella came over to me with this awkward look on her face. Mom said you were being mean to her, she mumbled. You shouldn't yell at her in public. I hadn't raised my voice once. I said, Bella, I didn't yell. And if she told you I did, she's lying. Bella just rolled her eyes. Whatever. And Bella, man, that's the part I still don't know how to handle. I get that she's young. I get that Dana's been spinning this web since before I even realized it was happening. But it doesn't make it easier when your own kid treats you like you're disposable. When she posts selfies with Dana and captions them, my ride or die, and doesn't even acknowledge me on Father's Day. Still, I don't react. I don't send bitter texts. I don't argue. I document. I stay calm. I show up. Because one day, maybe when Bella's older, when she starts connecting her own dots, she's going to look back and realize I never bailed, never lashed out. I just stood firm while everything else burned around me. I didn't expect the end to feel this quiet. Once the court date was set and things became real, Dana went silent, like all the wind had left her sails. Maybe because she realized I wasn't bluffing. Maybe because there wasn't anything left to manipulate. At that point, the custody arrangement was leaning toward her getting majority time with Bella. I didn't fight it. Not because I didn't care. Believe me, I care more than I'll ever be able to explain. But because Bella made her choice. Every chance she had to ask me what happened, to hear my side, she turned away. She bought into Dana's version of things wholesale. In her eyes, I was the one who wrecked everything. So I let go. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I got the new place furnished, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Quiet, clean, honest. No fake, how was your day routines. Just space to breathe again. Jamie came over a lot at first, helped with painting, hung curtains, even brought me new dish towels that weren't from our wedding registry 14 years ago. That was the part that got to me more than I expected. How much stuff I had to throw out because it was tied to her. Down to the stupid salad tongs we never used. One day, Jamie handed me a box of old photos she found at Mom's. You'll need these when Bella comes around someday, she said. I nodded. Didn't say anything. After a week, I got an email from my lawyer. Final court date was locked in. Papers would be signed and done by end of the week. It was over. And for the first time in a long time, I actually breathed. Then 2 months later, she showed up. Dana. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Said she just wanted to talk. That she was losing everything. I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. Didn't invite her in. She went into this monologue about how everything went too fast. How Tyson played her then dumped her. How Bella barely talks to her anymore unless she needs something. That she felt like she broke something she can't fix. I let her finish. I didn't say much. I just stood there. When she finally looked at me, she said, Do you still love me? It caught me off guard. Not because I didn't have an answer, but because I realized in that moment just how far gone I really was. I did, I said. But not anymore. Not after everything. Her face fell. But I didn't feel bad. Not like I used to. Because I wasn't saying it to hurt her. I was just being honest for once in this whole mess. I want to try again, she whispered. I nodded slowly. You had a year to choose me. You chose him. Over and over. She tried again. That was a mistake. Yeah, I said. And you made it 4 times. Then I went back inside and didn't look behind. And now? I've got a long road ahead. Healing isn't some quick project I can knock out in a weekend. But it's mine to do. On my terms. In my space. Without lies buzzing around in every corner. She chose Tyson. She chose secrets. She chose fake happiness and validation from a man who bailed when real life showed up. I chose me. And finally, I don't feel like the bad guy for doing it.